My father told me not to bring my boyfriend home, so I stopped bringing him my paychecks too. Dad always acted like he was doing me some huge favor by letting me live at home after college. 22 years old, working 2 jobs, and still getting lectures about respect and family values every time I walked through the door. The breaking point came when I told him Jake was coming over for dinner Sunday night. Absolutely not, he said, not even looking up from his newspaper. I don't want that boy in my house. End of discussion. Jake and I had been together 8 months. He worked construction, had his own apartment, and treated me better than any guy I'd ever dated. But Dad decided he didn't like him based on the tattoos on his arms and the fact that he drove a motorcycle instead of some boring sedan. Why? I asked. You've never even had a real conversation with him. Dad folded his paper with that dramatic snap he always did before giving a lecture. Because he's not good enough for you, Sarah. Look at him. Look at where he comes from. You think I worked my ass off raising you just so you could throw your life away on some punk? That stung. Jake grew up in foster care, worked since he was 15, and put himself through trade school. He was one of the hardest working people I knew. But Dad saw the motorcycle and decided Jake was in trouble. Fine, I said. Your house, your rules. What he didn't know was that I'd been paying him $400 a month in rent, plus buying groceries and splitting utilities. He called it helping with expenses. But really, it was me funding his lifestyle while he treated me like a teenager. That night, I opened my laptop and started apartment hunting. I found a decent one-bedroom about 20 minutes away for $600 a month. I called the landlord the next morning during my lunch break at the coffee shop where I worked. 2 weeks later, I was signing the lease. I didn't tell Dad anything. Jake helped me move on a Thursday when Dad was at work. We loaded everything into his truck in 3 trips. I left my key on the kitchen counter with a note, "Thanks for the life lessons. You can now find your own way to pay the bills." My phone started ringing around 6 p.m. Dad was furious. "What the hell do you think you're doing? Get back here right now. We need to talk about this." "Nothing to talk about," I said. "You made it clear Jake wasn't welcome in your house, so now neither am I. Don't be ridiculous. This is about respect, about you making better choices. It's about you thinking you can control my life because I live under your roof." Well, problem solved. He hung up, then called back an hour later. "Sarah, look, maybe we can work something out. Come home and we'll discuss this like adults. The only thing we need to discuss is when you're going to pay me back the $600 I'm out for groceries this month that you'll be eating." Silence. Pay you back? For groceries? That's ridiculous. So is expecting someone to hand over $400 a month and then telling them they can't have their boyfriend over for dinner. Dad's voice got that cold tone he used when he was really mad. "Fine. Don't come crawling back when this little rebellion falls apart and you can't afford rent. But here's the thing. When you're not paying someone else's mortgage and buying their food, you actually have plenty of money for your own place. Who knew?" 3 months later, Dad called. His voice was different, smaller somehow. "Your mom wants to know if you're coming for Christmas dinner. Are partners invited?" I asked. Long pause. "Yes." Christmas dinner was awkward but civil. Dad shook Jake's hand, asked him about work, and even complimented the wine Jake brought. After dinner, while Mom and Jake were doing dishes, Dad pulled me aside. "I was wrong," he said quietly. "About him, about how I handled things. I know. The house feels empty without you. And these bills." He shook his head. "I didn't realize how much you were contributing. I almost felt bad for him. Almost. Maybe you should have thought about that before deciding my boyfriend wasn't good enough to eat at your table." Dad nodded, looking older than I remembered. "Can we start over?" "We can try," I said. "But Jake and I are engaged now, so you'd better get used to having him around." His eyes went wide. "Engaged? When did that happen?" "Last week. Turns out when you stop letting other people control your life, good things happen." Jake walked in then, drying his hands on a dish towel, completely oblivious to the conversation. "Ready to go, babe? We've got that New Year's party to get to." Dad watched us leave together, and for the first time in years, he didn't offer me advice about my choices.